Hello and welcome back to another tech article. This one could turn out to be a long one. I haven't done a lot of planning on this, so I'm going to cover a lot in it. It's going to use a lot of my usual tools, so it's all based around Flowmattic and Email It, which is currently on offer on AppSumo. And I was looking for a solution, given how that I'll flick over to their site first, and they've got lots of integration options, but none of them really work with what I wanted to work with, which was Simply Static and their web form delivery method. So what I thought is I've got tools in my toolbox, let's use them. So I've used their SMTP details, added them to my WordPress website, installed Flowmattic, used Fluent SMTP to add these details to that website, and then I've built it off Flowmattic. So yeah, currently it's on AppSumo. It's a lifetime deal. Check it out. Of course, the backbone of this is Flowmattic. It would probably work in similar way with Zapier, Mate, Pabbly, and those others, but Flowmatic's there. I'm actually using WordPress functions as well. So this makes sense to me to build it around Flowmattic, and that's what I've done. And in this example, I'm going to go a little bit over the Simply Static setup and explain what I've done, the form that I've built using Fluent forms, which I've added to the site, and then we'll go over delivery. So yeah, there's a lot to cover today. So we've done Email It really, but I will go over it a little bit more. It's designed as an API for delivery of emails. It's a pay-as-you-go plan as well. So actually, I think it's £20 a month plus pay what you use. So it's not a terrible option. You buy them in bulk, you buy them, they're there for life. So it's not a bad option, and it's a good replacement for me in using this for formspree, which is what I was using before. And as I say, I'm using it with SMTP. So I've installed a WordPress website, and this is just a cadence-based template site. There's nothing special. I've made no modifications to it except for installing the Fluent form, but it's an okay site. It's had a little bit of customization in terms of colours, but that's mainly because I've got to look at it for so long. But other than that, yeah, it's a standard free template, and we are going to be concentrating on the contact forms really here, which is this one here, which is now a Fluent form. So I'm going to go over to Fluent Forms, and this is the actual form that we're using. And it is actually the basic contact us form that comes installed with Fluent Forms, but I've made two modifications to it. I've added two hidden fields of domain and a random string. The random string is to identify the website for the Flowmattic workflow. The domain is because I use it in the email subject. And this is the Fluent form. And if we go to forms, we know that it's form 3. And that's important for Simply Static. And I've got to go over the form build here. There's a form here. And this is how we add the form to Simply Static. And it's Fluent Form 3. This is the webhook for our Flowmattic webhook ready to receive that data. And that's what will happen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push this to Bunny CDN, and that shouldn't take very long at all. In testing, it's been about 40 seconds, so I'm going to pause, and I'll be back. Okay, that is done. 33 seconds. Pretty impressive, really, to convert a site to fully static and upload it to Bunny CDN. Now, I am aware of a quirk that I've discovered in the generation of the static Fluent form that causes 405 errors on Bunny CDN. So I'm going to fix that in the file that I've already downloaded, which is this line here. I'm going to delete it and save it, and then I'm going to go back to my site. I'm going to go to Bunny CDN, and I'm going to upload that file back into the contact file. I have to do that because I'm using Fluent. I don't know if it's it's an issue with some of the other form suppliers they install, but I lost half a day to testing earlier in the week, and it was that reason, and I don't want this to fail. It actually does deliver, but it comes up with the 405 error, which is off-putting. So this is our new site, been launched on Bunny CDN, yoga demo at one of their standard sites. So let's go to the contact form and put in some details here. Hello at hello.com. I don't know. This is our subject. This is our message. I'm actually going to change this to subject. I don't know, 22. Just so that we can pull it out a bit better in our workflow. And I'm going to submit that. And this is all live, and it's submitted. And with a bit of luck, over here in my emails should appear a new email, and there it is. And you can see this is the format of the email data that we've just sent, and all of this was handled by Flowmattic. So we've got a new email delivery from domain.com. Now domain.com isn't a real domain here, but it's what we set in our Fluent forms hidden field. Subject 22 is what we entered. Details, hello, and this is our message. So that is exactly what we sent. So now I'm going to flick over to Flowmattic and run through this workflow. So this is the workflow, and this is the webhook that we were using earlier. And all that does is capture our data, and this is our data, which is then successfully mapped. So here's our domain, here's our string, random string, and here's our fields that we would have sent. And it goes into a router. And the reason I've done a router is because I didn't want to make one of these for every site I'm going to install it. Now, I could have just done from there to the email, done a couple of checks to make sure it matched up. If it did, it was fine. But I thought by doing it into a router, we get a pass or fail, and we could have many routers from many sites, all within the one workflow. And in fact, we can rename these routers to anything we want to identify them to make it easier for us to work. So let's say example.com. And then, so from that webhook, it sends the data to the router, and the router makes two checks. It checks that the domain equals example.com. In this case, it would be example.com because we called it example.com, and that the random string matches the random string. Now, originally, in my first iteration of this, I was just sending the domain to send it to via the hidden data in the form because it was easy and it was convenient, but it was also very, very open to abuse. So I changed my workflow and thought about how I could do this. And using a random string as a sort of API key was the best way I could come up with for now. I probably will look at writing a PHP function and running it through that function of checking other things as well, like referrer URLs and stuff. But for now, this works, it delivers, and it is pretty tight to that setup. And the only one getting any spam if they do set up forms to deliver via the webhook, and obviously this webhook will be deleted after this video, via the webhook. If they do find out what the webhook is, what the domain is, and what the string is, plus maybe I'll add a second string that means something else, and it has to be particular. If they find out all of that, the only person getting those emails is me, because I've now hard coded the email in the send email, so it stops it being an open-ended gateway to send free emails, which would be a spammer's charter. So I then, after it's done its checks, if that is successful and it moves forward, it then composes our email, which is a simple send email using the WP default. Now you can actually put your SMTP details into Flowmattic, and you could have then added your email details in here. But I've chosen not to do that because there's other functions going on here anyway, and it saves me having to keep typing them in. So I've just got Fluent SMTP running in the background with those details in, and it becomes the WordPress default. The from name I've just put as email delivery, form and response at a domain, webhook one.email. Now this actually gets overridden by Fluent SMTP anyway. Email 2 hello at tech articles. Then I put a subject which I've built out of two of the bits of data that come out of our delivery via the webhook, which is the hook for the domain, demo domain, and the subject 22. And in our body, I've just put first name, last name together, put them in an email, put them in a message, and that's it. And that would work for attachments as well. It's capable of taking attachments, much bigger emails, much more complicated emails. But for this demo, I didn't want to spend too much time going through that and the settings of that. But yeah, this is how I've decided to use several tools that I have to deliver my emails from my static sites. And with the current lifetime offering from Email It, I'm going to save myself a small fortune in formspree fees. So yeah, I hope this is of use to some people. If you like the video and the channel, please like and subscribe. And if there's something you would like me to do a video on, be that Flowmattic, be that automation, be that WordPress based, just put it in the comments and I will take a look and see if I can plan a video around it for you. I hope this has been of use, and thank you very much.